So we have a lot of Gemini planets, and I just want to warn everybody because it squares my Jupiter in Pisces, which is it's an actually very creative place for the Jupiter. It's kind of good to have Jupiter in Pisces in the 12th house, no less. But going backwards, it kind of maybe it takes away the tendency for self-undoing, but maybe it makes it a good thing. I don't know, but yes, that's because the 12th house rules self-undoing, but really, it's called a spiritual experience. You're not, you're transcending a lot. You're going through ego death, maybe, you're getting spiritual. It's not just that, like, self-undoing. No, it's a very creative, private experience of transforming. You have your very personal um, self-undoing program. You really got to just, figure it's nobody's business but yours. I mean, gosh, you would hate to be a Siamese twin and say, you know what, I have to, I have to undo myself. You can just hang out for a minute. It's just pardon me. I don't know. I think it's a little different for them. I'm going to break out into hilarious comedy, to prove to my own self that I'm not really having that bad of a time. I would rather be loved, um, love and be loved in return is what I'm trying to say. So let me back off the visuals and give you a intimate experience about my astrological take. Well, I was trying to warn you about how well, we could turn it into a comedy act as Jupiter begins to start to square my Jupiter. That's usually financial problems, but then again, see, with my Jupiter going backwards, it's like the universe is probably going to finally go, you know what? Will you please take everything we're trying to offer you? We know you don't like money, but here's money anyway to get your guitar going and put up the boom stand and sing for us. I'll be like, oh God, how miserable, because it's not really going to turn out all that well. My meal is burning over there. Usually I burn a meal or two when I have Gemini planet squaring my Jupiter, but really it's my Venus later on at the late degrees of Venus. It kind of messes with my ability to just dial it in, and it's like, oh, why did I put so much salt in this? Why? Well, then I just figure God wants you to have extra salt. Okay, it's got to happen somewhere, somehow, in your awkward moment with the later Gemini squaring my Venus. It's not the only thing. That's not. See, my Venus can just kick back because it trines the hell out of all of my other air planets. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planets in air. Can you believe that? What I had just said, babes, is I'm prone to anxiety. I've been experiencing that, and it's like, well, it's not necessarily Aries. My Aries is saying, will you please take me out and for a jog and run and take a hike and get away from this your anxiety tendency, the tendency to be anxious because the mind is blowing, and it's like that's not the real wind. Would you quit it? Let's go out into the real wind and feel good, right? Sometimes too much mind cannot feel good. Sometimes, most of the time, it's not even a place with anything where you have to get out of it. Anyway, the Sun going into Gemini and then Venus going into Gemini, let alone Jupiter going into Gemini, all of that in Gemini by the end of the month isn't going to help us at all with getting out of our minds. This is where all of us were trying to tell you, learn to relax. Nah, especially we still have a chance. One more day, the 25th tomorrow, we have Taurus at 29 degrees, full bloom frickin' Taurus. Jupiter blowing it up there. And it's like, will you please learn to be very calm and collected and come from that just a very down to earth, matter of fact, no wishy washy, not more like no too much emotion. Really, no wishy washy. I mean, come on. Is it black or white? Not necessarily that. What I'm saying is this: the Taurus vibration is very quality oriented, and it's best to be really quiet so we can pick it up on what it is in the moment. It's very zen, the Taurus vibration, very zen. It's hard to understand them, but of course, we know that their flip side is very temperamental. They're just gonna fly off the handle because it's like they want it to be quiet. And it's like, I cannot handle all this noise. We have worked so hard to make planet Earth. The sun is out, it became 12 noon, and you are noisy. And we are cows out in the meadow now, trying to enjoy ourselves. Thanks for hanging on to that. See, I'm going to probably tell these stories that talk about, can you calm down? No. Was I doing a good job of calming down? I doubt it. You can never do enough calming down, I'm sure. So by the time all of this stuff starts to try in my 369 feeling fine, I'll promise you that, even though I say I'm not going to be here, I didn't want to be here, it's because I feel my life is nebulous, and what am I going to say? Maybe I should wait till I had something to say. I find that I'm being absolutely hilarious with some of the stuff I said, even the last videos that I posted about the EMF waves frying our brains. That's all hilarious, the way that I'm just putting it out there. Because isn't it funny? I always thought it was funny, not only that, but sexy as hell. I mean, first of all, women are sexy. But then when they start saying things like it is in such a way, it's like, yeah, never mind. And it's like, it's mesmerizing to me. Trying to enjoy this once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, it's like the last time not only for me, I am humanity, for whatever reason, that everybody else is involved also. We have this amazing Mercury that's going to conjunct. We just went through this amazing conjunction of all of these. Um, Jupiter, particularly, working its magic. Um, for a lot of people, it's very lucky right now because of the Gemini planets that are sextile to the Aries planet. And I mention Aries because we have Mars in Aries, and that's what it's going to be doing elementary-wise. But see, Taurus is not allowing very much depth talk to go on, even though we want to say some things about things. It's like impossible. You have to wait till even that Mercury will be going into Gemini really quick here on June 5th. It'll be in Gemini, and so that's when we're going to see some really quick freaking communications. I mean, that Mercury in Gemini does not last but hardly 2 weeks. That's just the way it is. For whatever reason, it puts through, and it's rare to find a Mercury and Gemini person. I relish it. I'm like, dang, this person, and they relish me. They're like, it's like, you have Mercury. I attract the Mercury and Geminis, especially that hit my 369 and or my later 28, 26 Mercury Uranus conjunction. And so, but me, babes, personally, with my air, I've been struggling with that air sensation, which we can be too too thoughtful, I guess. And I'm not grateful for the way that feels. I mean, I know it's just as simple as getting up and getting out and um, being with my chickens and relishing. I am so grateful for where I am. But see, as an Aries rising, I'm picking up on alarm. I think all of humanity is needing to do this. It's terrible the way that they are reduced down to just sitting and doing social media. It's destroying our bodies, and I'm wondering if I'm going to be the first one to sue iPhone for having destroyed every aspect of our lives, especially our social lives. say, this is causing emotional disturbance, let alone all this other shit. That when are we going to run into the first person? Or to hear the case of that they just took them to court because they found they can just directly relate it. All of their problems too. Yeah, ever since, everybody has just split up and talk about the mental illness that has come on because of information that people are holding up, and they're not really cut out to psychologically digest it, but narcissists want to get on the trend and talk about certain things. You can be very good if you really are a thinker, and you look at it and think, oh God, that doesn't make sense. We need to just make a joke out of that and go a little bit of a jokey way about it. And for me, there's an article on Facebook that starts to just recap on what we've already refined and what we already know. You have to repeat it like the Channel 4 News does, because otherwise, how does our team, what team, Shauna? Team Green, Team Earth, Team Organic, the ones that are on the bottom taking the crap, man. It seems like, the ones that do not complain but think that they're doing wrong all the time and that they can't ever do enough. That money system has them strung out, and they're happy about it. They're happy about their breadcrumbs. Sorry. The overachiever even is just not making it. These are all narcissists, by the way, and they think there's just nothing wrong with it. I can't. What's wrong, Shauna? Ask Jesus what was wrong. Jesus, was there anything wrong? Did you see something wrong?